tell us who you are, what your names.
I'm Gary Hilson.
I'm Tracey McCarthy.
And this is a complicated story.
It is, yes.
It is quite complicated. Yeah.
But I think we're most important because they love to call us anti-vaccine, clearly not, because you have vaccinated your children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what your thinking on vaccines was way back when you were pregnant with your first.
Well, initially you think that you're doing the right thing, you're protecting your children, and
They're safe.
you're advised by the doctors and whatever that it's 100% safe, and the children need this to build their immunity, which is, we've found out since it's a load of rubbish.
So tell us the story the best way you can remember.
Well, with my ex-partner, we had first of all we had a stillborn, so we moved. We tried again straight away and had a lovely little boy. A second child come along. He was given 2 doses of the MMR by mistake. He wasn't severely affected by it. He's got asthma, and he's been diagnosed with something called Russell-Silverman syndrome, where he finds it hard to put weight on. He's very, very thin, and his head is not in proportion with his body. Didn't attribute that to him having the MMR. Then me and my ex had our 3rd child, and 2 weeks after he had the MMR, we was in a play centre, and he started.
How old was he?
He was about 8 months, 9 months old. Might have been. I don't think it was the MMR, but he'd had a vaccine 2 weeks previous, and he started to get a burning rash on his leg and started seizuring. We took him to hospital immediately. They thought he had meningitis. They thought he had encephalitis, swelling of the brain. They put him on antibiotics intravenously straight away. He had one of the top neurologists apparently in the south of England. I don't know if I can name her or not. She's retired now, Dr. Martinez. We had a lot of faith in her, and but he carried on having these seizures, the open-close seizures, where he would roll his eyes and pull his shoulders forward, and he was having, at the worst extent of it, he was having them every half hour. He was put on epilim, and that seemed to get him under control. And he was diagnosed with something called West syndrome, after Dr. West found out that these three things, the developmental delay, the seizures, and a brain pattern called hypsarrhythmia, them 3 factors make up West syndrome. So he was diagnosed with West syndrome. He's now 13 years old. He's got no speech at all. He self-harms. He punches himself in the head. That's his way of communicating. Still in nappies. Can't walk. Can't crawl. Can't talk. He bottom shuffles.
We've been told that he's got a developmental age of a 1-year-old.
Yeah. So I went on to have another 2 children after that, and they've been fine. But I started looking into the vaccine damage, and I said, I don't want my kids vaccinated anymore. It was out of my hands because me and my ex-partner split up, and she took the children away, and the social services that was involved then made her vaccinate the children. Lucky enough, they've not had no detrimental effects from it. But my point of view was, you're not putting no needles in my children from now on. And then me and Tracey got together about 2.5, 3 years ago, and we've had social service involved with us. I believe that there's an agenda to damage children because I think they're more valuable when they put them up for foster care. We've found out that if you've got a child with a disability, the foster carers get a lot more money. They get double what a normal foster carer would get. And what they try to do is as well, if they've not got a diagnosis of a disability, they say, oh, well, maybe he's got some kind of autism, maybe he's got ADHD, maybe he's got this, and they try to get him on some kind of statement so they can get more money for a child with special needs. We had a baby last year.
Shall I tell my story before we go on to the baby?
Yeah, you can do.
Right. I have a 19-year-old daughter. Obviously, when I fell pregnant, I thought the best thing to do was to vaccinate, just like any other parent. Listen to the doctors and do as the doctors say for the best of the health of your own child. And that's what I've done. When she was 7, around about 6, 7, she was getting this cough. I don't know if it was vaccine related, but she had it for about a year, and they kept pumping her with asthma pumps. And then eventually they gave her a course of penicillin. It ended up clearing up, but it took a year for that cough to clear up. And then when she was 11, she went to secondary school, and she was given 2 injections. I think you've got to have 3 of the Gardasil, but she was given the 2 injections in England for the Gardasil and missed the final injection. So I took her to a doctor's in Ireland when we moved to Ireland, and they said it's okay, she can restart them again and it won't do her any harm to have it again, had the 3 injections. So she did that, she had the 3 injections.
How many Gardasil injections did she get?
5 in total. I think the course is free.
And she got 5?
She got 5 injections, 2 in England and 3 in Ireland.
How is she?
How is she? A little while after that, I can't give a time scale, but she started getting these stomach cramps, really a lot of pain in her stomach. She couldn't move, she couldn't walk or nothing. I'd put her in bed days like that, give her a hot water bottle. I just assumed that, her periods are going to start, and women's problems, her body's changing into a woman from a child. That's what I put it down to. But it never stopped. And when she was 16, her pains were so bad that she was crying, doubled over in pain at home. So I rang 999, and an ambulance come and took her to hospital. They done tests after tests after tests. They couldn't find anything wrong with her. The next thing they wanted to do was cut her stomach open and go in there, operate on her, go in there and see if they can see anything happening, see anything going on. And I refused that. I said no, just give her some painkillers and hopefully it'll go down. And if it gets bad again, like it was before I took her to hospital, then I'll bring her back. But she always had these pains and stomach problems and vaginal problems. She kept going to clinics and doctors and being given antibiotics, saying it was a water infection, things like that. We never got the diagnosis to what was actually wrong with her. A year ago, last Christmas, it's 2015, isn't it? Mm-hmm. 2015, Christmas 2015, she actually fell pregnant and miscarried the baby. Looking into the studies of Gardasil and stuff now, I do believe that has a lot to do with, her problems have a lot to do with the Gardasil injection. And that's her story, but I also have a 8-year-old son. When he was born, perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever, developed naturally, perfectly well. Everyone was happy with his development. I went to a school meeting when he was 6, and I found out that he wasn't developing at the same age as his peers. So with the school, we worked with the school, got extra work involved, and yeah, you know, we thought that he'd start developing okay, like brain-wise, but it didn't happen. I took him to the doctors because his height was slightly smaller than the rest of his peers, and he just didn't seem to be, his development seemed to have stopped, and it got to the point where I noticed that he was a lot more smaller than the rest of his peers. Yeah, so I took him to the doctors. They started doing investigations on his stature and things like that. Testing him, you was there at the time going to the hospital, wasn't he? Testing him for everything, yeah.
He was a lot
CT,
smaller than my child, that
who was the
same age. And yeah, we found out that he had an underdeveloped pituitary gland.
And also a heart murmur. Now, heart murmurs to me, and I said this to the doctor at the time, are usually developed in babies because their heart hasn't developed in the womb, yeah, from birth. But he was never ever diagnosed with a heart murmur after birth or throughout up until he was 7 years of age. So yeah, he was diagnosed with the pituitary gland and the heart murmur. He's since had a heart operation to close a hole in his heart. It's meant to all be functioning well. And now I don't know anything about what my children are actually going through, because we are now, what's today's date?
27th.
We're on the 27th of April, and we haven't seen our children since just before Christmas. So we're coming up, social services have actually stopped us seeing our children.
What happened was when Tracey...
Can I just tell these people, social services is the same as your child protection services,
yeah.
so it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they moved in on us, and due to allegations from my ex and Tracey's ex, different allegations,
but they also moved in on us at the same time as going through his tests before my son. Sorry, we're also...
that was a slip up. We're not allowed to name the children.
We're under a court order, we're not allowed to name the children. Don't worry, I've done that.
It was a mistake. But,
you could have just said the dog.
Yeah, but...
could have done, but they would know. They're watching this.
The thing is, the child hasn't got the same second name as Tracey, so it doesn't matter.
Alright.
So the child hasn't been named.
And we've never been served with
Okay, no, I'm trying to understand why this has happened. You've got a child between you both.
Yes, we have.
Talk about that
well,
for a second.
She was born last July. They knew that we was against vaccinations. We said when she comes out, we don't want the vitamin K. She's not having no vaccinations. And they already put her on they'd already taken the other children. They'd removed them from us and put them into foster care due to the allegations from our previous relationships.
These allegations have nothing to do with vaccines?
No. But I think the target was, as I said before, I've got my child, the 13-year-old, is severely disabled, and they are it's like winning the lottery to them.
Can I just ask why your children have gone into care and not back to their parents?
Right, two of my children were given to my son's dad, who has previous had sexual allegations by a child made against him. The courts have ignored this and placed my children in danger, even knowing that my 4-year-old at the time of being placed said that Daddy so-and-so makes me get in the bath with him, and this is the man that's caring for them. And the judge has just thrown this out of court, ignored all the evidence and placed my children in danger. My child as well, my son, who had the the pituitary gland in the brain, he's, what's else I was going to say? He's also being given, growth hormone replacement, which I'm totally against. And my concerns for these injections have not been taken into consideration by anybody. And my son is now being injected on a daily basis with growth hormone treatment, which I'm not happy with.
The social services just don't want to work, well, they won't work with us at all, they won't work in the best interests of the children.
Why are your children in care?
Right.
I mean, then why are they not back with the ex-wife?
They was taken off my ex-wife because she was unable to look after
So
them.
your children are in care as well?
Yes. And then the baby come along, said no vitamin K, no injections, and they took her at 3 days old from the hospital.
And can we also say here as well that our children are actually in care for potential emotional harm?
Something may happen in the future.
Yeah.
Nothing that's happened, not that they've been harmed in any way, that they've been bruised or broken limb or anything.
Never been
Something
hurt
that
in our
may
care.
happen in the future.
Has this hit the British press?
The British press, because now there was a court case last week, and I do believe, I have had word, but I've never seen it, that there is a gagging order on us now.
There's a thing called a counter memorandum, but we've not been
And
served
we're
it.
suspecting as well that the press is going to be involved in this gagging
Oh,
order.
they tell the press commission as well, not to talk to us.
You're live right now, so this could be
We do
shared.
Facebook Lives,
Yeah.
that's fine. We do Facebook Lives
yeah.
every Saturday evening at 8 o'clock regarding the care situation of our children and other UK parents.
And we do cover it also. We do a phone-in show on Facebook Live.
Okay, so how can people follow you on
Well,
Facebook?
I'm Gary Roy Hilson on Facebook and Tracey McCarthy on Facebook, and we go
Gary, what's your name?
Gary Roy Hilson.
Gary Roy Hilson.
Yeah.
And Tracey McCarthy.
And you keep everyone updated with what's happening?
Yeah,
We do,
we
yes.
talk about various agendas. We're mainly talking about the corruption in the family courts and social services. We have people ringing in and we speak to people live, telling their stories. We also cover the vaccine stuff because that's very close to my heart as well. We've been pushing the vaxxed stuff as well. Also things like fluoride and aspartame and things like that. We talk about, basically we think it's an agenda to damage our children. That it's all integral. The corruption in social services, the poisoning of our children through aspartame and through vaccines.
For all foods, quite a few foods.
It's all, we believe it's all integral.
How do you sleep at night not knowing where your children are?
I hardly ever do sleep, to be
Well,
honest
we've got-
with you.
Your little baby, a girl, how old is she now?
She's 9 months now.
And you've not seen her since 3 days?
Well, we was
haven't
having contact.
We haven't seen her since the 15th of
February.
We do actually have a video posted on our page that's been posted recently of when she was born. 3 days later we had to go to court to prevent the social services from removing our daughter from our care. Now, we left her perfectly healthy in the hospital. When we got back from the hospital, they had put a cannula in her hand, and my daughter was actually, her eyes were rolling, she was fitting, she was shaking, being sick, diarrhea, and she just was not the same baby that we left.
And that video is on Tracey's wall.
I was actually also assaulted by the nurse, and that is also on my Facebook.
Can we bring up that video? Have you got it on your thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, so what they done basically, we don't know what they done. They said they wanted to check for signs of infection, and they put a cannula in her hand, and they said they took blood, but we don't know what they pumped into her that day.
Did they give her vaccine? Did they vaccinate her?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We did ask for the vitamin K to be given to her orally, and as far as we know, they did give her it orally, but we do not know what was pumped into her that day. We do not know.
I don't understand how they can do this.
They've
Just
done it without parents' permission.
for future emotional...
There's thousands of children being taken all across the world.
You've got your phone.
When you don't know where they are, you have no say.
Well, we was having contact until the Was it the 13th of February?
I think, yeah, I
It
think
was,
the
because
13th
it was the day before
February.
Valentine's
Now, we haven't
Day.
seen our baby since the 13th of February. You'll find.
Yeah. Prior to that, though, we always used to bath her and massage her, do baby massage at Contact. We was having contact at the contact centre, supervised
And there
contact
was
centre.
never any
And were you allowed to
concerns.
feed your baby? Breastfeed?
I was
She was-
breastfeeding her for the first 3 days I had her, but from the moment I left her in the hospital with the social services, I gave her a last feed, and from then on they would not allow me to feed her. They would not take my milk, they would not allow me to feed my daughter.
But when she come to Contact, we see needle marks in her leg, and we asked the foster carer that she'd been vaccinated, and they vaccinated her without parental consent.
She had a needle in one thigh, a needle in the other thigh, and a needle in her arm.
So I've got bad reception as well. I can't
Okay, don't worry, people go to...
But it's on.
If you go to Tracey McCarthy, which is TRACIE, MCARTHY, you will see the videos that have been uploaded regarding our daughter being with the cannula in her hand and the nurse assaulting me, and you'll also see our story basically.
So how are you going to get your children back?
Well, it went to court, and they've granted a placement order to have her placed for adoption. So the contact was reduced and stopped, and that's why we've not seen the baby since.
I don't understand
What it's called forced adoption. They're doing it all over.
We were supporting a lady that could be jailed yesterday at the Royal Courts of Justice in
because there was a
Australia.
gagging order on her, and she is now she's going to be imprisoned in 2 weeks' time because she mentioned her son
Because you're not allowed.
on social media.
They don't want this agenda getting out.
This is horrific.
We're going to a big march as well in Westminster on Saturday. We're joining a lot of other agendas, institutional child abuse and forced adoption and parental alienation. And there's a big march in Westminster outside Parliament on Saturday, so we're joining that as well. But we go and support other people going through this, and obviously they ring into our show and speak to us. We get contacted by hundreds of people every week.
We can't keep up with it. We've got too much on our plates to. I mean, we wake up in the morning to like 50 messages during the night. It's.
How do you
too much?
Not kill yourselves or whatever. How do you?
Well, there's the other thing. There is a story usually pops up on our Facebook because it never makes the mainstream news. Parents killing themselves all the time through having their children removed.
In the past couple of weeks, we've been monitoring it. Well, say a couple of months. It's literally one parent a week taking their own life over this situation, this forced adoption, children being removed. Last week it was a support worker, worked with a family support worker. She committed suicide.
One woman had a heart attack in
she had her
court.
children taken away.
She had a heart attack in court when they took her children away. Only a young lady.
She was only about 19, heart attack in court.
She died.
As soon as the judge gave over the verdict that her children were never going back to her, heart attack.
And that's what we're fighting at the moment. We're trying to get our baby back, and all of our children back, and we're fighting the system.
Have you got a good lawyer?
We sacked our
they're all in on it as well.
Working together. We sacked our solicitors.
All the barristers all come from the same chambers. They all get on the same train and go home together. They all sit in a pub and drink together, and they could be working for you one day and working for the local authority the next. They've got no integrity like that.
So they're bought, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So our barristers wasn't doing what was in our best interest or for the best of the children. They was misadvising us. And funny enough as well, the barrister representing Tracey's ex-partner, who has got Tracey's two little ones, she was affiliated with the judge that gave the verdict, come from the same chambers, and working as a barrister and working as a judge in the family division as well, in the same court as the judge that gave our verdict. It's all corrupt. It's corruption. The corruption is rife. And I don't know what effect our little baby having the vaccines is going to have on her. Because it hits all children differently. Some children are affected and some children aren't.
Have you got some advice? I know you don't want to talk about why they've actually been taken, other than emotional, whatever it is, emotional thing, but how do parents stop being in your situation? I know that sounds cool, but how do they stop?
You contact us straight away, and we will email over the documents to as soon as social services walk into your life. Basically, you've got to serve them on these documents to stop them having any involvement with your children.
We've got some good people surrounding us, giving good advice.
And this works because it's worked on many other
But
people.
I mean, we left it too late. We're pushing it now. We're pushing this system.
But what stops social services getting involved with you in the first place?
Nothing.
They just
They are all
They
powerful.
got involved with me because I was homeless.
They've got a God complex. I mean, Tracey done a panorama documentary.
In 2013 and since,
Speaking out about benefits cap.
So, would it be fair to say that they're picking on the vulnerable?
Yes, definitely.
And the people that they can say, oh, well, she was down and out or whatever?
That don't think
It's
they
a-
can
it's-
fight
it's an
back.
agenda.
That we've got more fight than we've ever had.
So they're not picking on the people in nice houses with...
Well, not, you know,
No.
let's, you know, I don't think it's unfair to talk about. Let's talk about Maddie. Maddie McCann. You know,
They don't know, quickly recap because
Madeline McCann, the little girl that went missing, I think it's 10 years ago now, isn't it?
It is 10 years ago in Portugal.
2 doctors for parents. She also had 2 siblings, the twins.
Younger than her.
And, you
What
know...
ages were they at the time?
I don't know, they was tiny babies. But apparently she was stolen from the apartment while the parents were at a tapas bar down the road, were drinking with their friends. Now, if any normal family went on holiday and left their child in a... If we went away on holiday and left our child in a hotel room on their own...
Our 3 young children under 4 years of age.
We would be done for neglect. But these people that was involved with Golden Brown at the time, they said there was other factions involved, like MI5 and whatever, and it's all been covered up, what was actually gone on.
But as soon as we walked back into England from that holiday, after our child was kidnapped or whatever, we would have been straight into the police station, our children would have been put straight into care, and we would have got supervised contact up until the adoption of them 2 young babies.
Nobody's ever
that
considered...
never happened to them.
Nobody's ever considered the 2 little twins that was left behind. Them children should have been taken into protective custody by the social services, and the parents should have been investigated for neglect. You can't go out drinking with your 6 mates down a tapas bar half a mile down the road and leave you.
And let's not forget as well, it wasn't just them that done it. It was quite a few parents that
families.
left all their children in apartments on their own while they went out for a meal and had drinks and that. If that was us,
you're precisely right there. If you're got some kind of standing, if you're an MP or a councillor or things like that, you don't get involved. The social services don't get involved with you.
Tony Blair.
Yeah.
Tony Blair, the ex-Prime Minister of England.
It wasn't Tony Blair, it was David Cameron.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Left his kid in a pub and drove off.
Ex-Prime Minister of England. Yeah, drove off, left his child in the pub, and this child was on its own, and nothing was done. If that was us that done that, straight away, social services, police would have been in
completely unfair.
the rest of our
But
children.
it's an agenda to earn money, because local authorities they can claim more money for every child they put into foster care, and it's a big bonus for them. And if they achieve adoption, I've heard that they can get up to £36,000 as a incentive to adopt a child. And this is rife in England. But as I said, I'm getting back to the vaccinations side of it, I think it's all integral, that it's child abuse. They want to damage the children, they want them to be abused. I don't know what the agenda is, I can speculate what the agenda is to make a broken society for the future, which is more controllable. But it's the same thing. It's abuse from government and local authority. These local authorities are forcing vaccinations. There was a incident in South London. Children were taken into care. The parents objected to vaccinations. The judge ordered in the High Court that the child was to be vaccinated.
There was also the judge that is actually dealing with our case. Do you want to name her?
Well, she's a judge. She's out there. Judge Carol Atkinson, her name is. She runs the East London Family Court. She was
actually given a case regarding a Muslim child, a Muslim baby. Sorry, it was a baby girl, I think, as well. The parents did not want this baby girl to be vaccinated. Social Services brought this case to court in front of our judge, Judge Carol Atkinson, and that judge ordered that baby to be vaccinated, and that mother had no choice but to vaccinate that child. And that is the same judge that's dealing with us.
It's all child abuse. Yeah. And I think we've been picked on as well because of the severity of my boy's condition and me speaking out about it. They don't like it.
You guys have been through so much.
Yeah.
So just tell everybody again where they can go to help you, support you, or contact you if they need help as well.
Yeah, you can go on to Gary Roy Hilson's Facebook page and send him a friends request. Our stuff's all public, so you can see everything on our page, whether you're friends with us or not. You can follow us. I'm Tracey, spelled Tracie, McCarthy, MCARTHY. Please add us on Facebook and follow us and help us if you can and follow our story and support us.
We go on 8 o'clock UK time every Saturday night. We are going to do a vaccine phone-in special as well, or maybe on a midweek.
We do vaccines.
We cover vaccines anyway, but we're going to do a special on vaccines one Wednesday night, and encourage people to ring in with their stories.
Wow, I just can't get over your story. It's horrific.
It is.
Every parent's a nightmare.
It is, but we're, you know, like I said, this is happening. Not just in this country, it's happening all over the world. But there's people trying to flee this country there are some safe areas. Southern Ireland is supposed to be safe, and Northern Cyprus and France. And there's people having to leave their own land in order to be parents and in order to have their children in their care. We shouldn't.
There's girls that have had children taken away and they're being told that, yeah, you're safe to have children in the future, but you just can't have this child. Why are they safe to have children in the future but can't have the child that they've already given birth to and raised and whatever? Why is that child being forcibly adopted? I'm dealing with another mother at the moment. She's had 4 children removed. She's heavily pregnant, and they said that they wouldn't remove any more children off her, but she's gone through a parenting assessment, and now they're saying that she's unfit to keep this baby. So she's in the process at the moment of trying to get out of the country.
And they usually leave it about 2 weeks before the baby's born before they start
moving in on you.
They're duplicitous. They're your friends until 2 weeks before the baby's born, and then they move in on you. I mean,
how can they say you're an unfit mother when you haven't given birth yet?
Can I also
pre-birth assessment they do?
Yeah. Can I also say as well, I previously was working in a children's centre. I was also working with mothers that have been affected by domestic violence. I was also in the children's centre. I was working with under 5-year-olds in the play area. You know, I've done all that. And yet they've given me a parenting assessment and purposely failed me. You know, if I was any danger around children or unfit to be around children, I would never have had them jobs. Never.
I was a parent governor in my children's nursery. I always took a really active role in, you know, the children's schooling. You know, I was given my 5 children, I was awarded them they was taken out of my ex-partner's care, and a court awarded me the children after assessments and saying he's perfectly safe, the children are best off with Dad. But when we got together, they didn't want us together.
I've got a similar kind of background as well. My children, my son was removed for 10 months just before I gave birth to my youngest daughter, not our child, my daughter before him. And it was removed for 10 months. I jumped through every single hoop, passed every single assessment, and they said to me, the social services said to me, we're going to adopt your son, and the baby that you're carrying now, we're going to adopt. I went to court, the day my waters broke, I went to court, and the judge in the courtroom said to me, said to the social services, sorry, you're to return her son within 2 weeks, and that baby is not to be removed from mother when it was born. As soon as I walked out of court, my waters broke. She was holding on for that. But what I'm trying to get at is if I've already passed every single assessment, and then they jumped in again after I was homeless, when I was evicted because of the benefit cap, why was I a danger after being evicted from my home? They dug me out, they knew what they were doing, they picked on me because of my previous, and you know, I've done nothing wrong. I passed every single assessment before my daughter was born, my youngest daughter, not his one. You know, passed it all, and come in again, failed everything. Apart from the drug and alcohol test, I passed all them.
I've heard it said though, if you've got alternative views, then they move in on you.
But we also believe as well that once you've got involvement of social services, you're never left alone. Never left alone.
It seems to be a pattern that if someone's had a background in foster care or foster homes, then when they go on to have a family, they start to move in on them children as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Horrific story. Is there anything else you want to tell the people? You're getting a lot of support here on Periscope.
Brilliant.
I can't see we are back. But we are on Periscope, yeah.
We have actually posted it on our pages just before coming on, so...
Yeah, we're going to share it all and everything. No, it's just we need as much support as possible, and you know we're going to support the vax as well as much as we can and get it out there, because they might try to silence us, but they can never silence us. We've lost everything. Yeah, we've got nothing to lose now. We want our children back home. We want them back safe with us.
I think that, you know, the great thing about social media and what we're all doing together is we're finding out about you. We never would have known about this kind of situation, and it's empowering everybody. And people, it's all of us fair losing our children. So I'm sure there are people I know that come over and support you in any way they can.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
So thank you guys.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for having us. It's been a privilege to come in.
Sorry you waited so long.
No, it's fine.
It's been a lot of grueling stories today, very sad.
Yeah.